So this show is called A Wonder. To those of you who treat me as a wonder. It's an intimate piece set around a table. So it's a little bit like a séance or some sort of gathering where this strange person, Salmanazar, has invited a group of 12 people to be inducted into his odd idea of himself. He was a real person, and he lived in the 18th century. He arrived in London in 1730, claiming to be a Formosan aristocrat. He did lovely drawings of the religious rituals and local dress and how they dressed their elephants and so on. One of the rituals he described was a yearly sacrifice of 20,000 young boys under the age of 9. And because his philosophy was to never admit an untruth, but to always embellish it, he then found himself, for example, with this idea of killing 20,000 boys a year. He realized that this was actually quite difficult in a practical sense. So he was then had a compulsion to explain how this was done and how you would get enough young boys into an incinerator where all the blood would go and all this sort of thing. He gave lectures at the Royal Society and was appreciated for being extremely clever man. He was an amazing linguist, and he did invent a Formosan language which works. So I've been interested in this chap for a while. I loved the pictures of him and his mad, bulgy eyes. I loved his drawings and his odd ideas. And I loved the fact that he was the quintessence of fraudulence. And it seems amazing to me that even after, 300 or 400 years, we have no idea who he was. So the experience around the table will be fairly enigmatic, visual, sort of symbolic. And that seems to me an interesting proposition for a theatre show, or whatever it is. Callum Morton and Romany Harper have been working with me on designing it. And it's an interesting idea to have 3 designers working on one show. But it really seems to pay off in this because it is turning the piece from what was once rather a literary idea into a very much an art piece, a time-based sculptural piece. And Susie D is directing. I've worked with her a great deal. She's also worked with all the other participants as well in the past. I feel that his idea about never admitting that you're making things up has very strong contemporary relevance. He's quite a character.